Hi, Dr. Thompson. Sama Dimalante here. I'm going to be completing activities 2 through 4 of the Aseptic lab. So, first things I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands to remove any bacteria that could possibly come into contact with any of the bacterial cultures that we're using. Helping to eliminate this helps to eliminate any other bacteria that we're not using. Turn the water off. Wipe my hands dry. I'm going to toss this away, and now I'm going to put on my gloves. Alright, so I'm going to disinfect my work surface area. Earlier I've already disinfected the rack where all the tubes are going to go. I've also disinfected my grease pencil. It's just the surface that needs to be disinfected now. So I'm going to take my 10% bleach solution. I'm going to pour it on here. I'm going to take a paper towel, spread it around, so it can help disinfect as much of the area as possible that I will be working on, helping to eliminate even more bacteria that could be cultivating on these surfaces that could potentially get into bacterial cultures that we're using, not giving me accurate results. All right, I'm going to let it sit there for about 2 minutes or so, and then we will be getting on transferring the soy broth culture into one of the nutrient broth cultures. In the meantime, I have previously already labeled all of the cultures that it could be in, or the broths that they could be in. So the slant broth, I already labeled it with SM and then the date, as well as the plate agar culture and our nutrient broth culture. I've also already lit the paraffin candle, so that way it is ready to go. And I can always double check too during this time to make sure I have all the equipment available and ready. I also made sure that the isopropyl alcohol solution, or my little kind of dumping jar, is going to be further away from the candle, just in case of anything catching on fire. So it's been about 2 minutes. I'm going to take my paper towel, and now I'm going to try to soak up the rest of this. All right. Continue again until it is dry, because working on a wet surface is not preferred, and it's also not very safe. All right, so now what I am going to do is I am going to grab my culture, which I've already set yesterday. And what I'm going to do is make sure it's extra closed, because I left it a quarter of a turn open so that enough air could still get into it, but not enough microbes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the contents by just tapping my fingers along it, getting some movement in there. All right. All right. I'm going to remove the cap. All right, so my non-dominant hand is going to hold the tube, because this one's going to have to hold a lot of other things as well. And so what I'm going to do is So I'm going to flame the top of this to ensure there aren't any microbes that could be getting into it. Alright, so now that I have made sure that the heat has gotten rid of any microbes that could be in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an inoculating tube. Best way to get one of these out is to turn it upside down, as close to this opening as possible. Grab one that could be pointed out from the rest, bring that down, bring this close to the surface. I'm going to open it up, not too much, so there isn't any microbes getting into there, but enough so I can still get this tube out. I'm going to take this tube with my dominant hand. I'm going to seal this up, and I'm going to set this back down. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is hold this tube at an angle so this inoculating tube can get in there much easier. Put it in, grab some bacteria, maintain this in this hand, and again, light the top of the mouth of the tube on fire. Alright, and now I'm going to put the cap back on there. I'm going to put this back in the rack. Next, I will grab my nutrient broth tube, unscrewing the top with my dominant hand while my non-dominant hand holds onto the tube. I'm going to set this one on fire as well. Alright, now that that is disinfected from any microbes getting into there, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this at an angle, put some of the culture that was in the other tube into here, swish it around a little bit, make sure it's getting thoroughly mixed and getting off of this inoculating tube as well. Alright. Now I'm going to light the mouth of the tube on fire again to make sure there's no microbes getting in there. Okay, that went out a little bit, but that's okay. I can always light that on fire again. Alright, and I'm going to put the top on here as well, leaving it a little loose so that there's still enough air to get in there to help kind of cultivate that. I'm going to put this on the rack. Now I'm going to take this inoculating tube and I'm going to put it in the ISO culture right there. Now, since I do have to light that candle on fire, I might have microbes on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gloves off, light that with my lighter right here. Set that down, wipe my hands, and then wash my hands once more. Alright, turn that off, grab some paper towels, dry my hands off as much as I can. And throw those away and grab a fresh new pair of gloves. Alright, now that I'm disinfected, I'm going to do start activity 3. So this is going to be the transfer from the broth culture to the slant. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to grab an inoculating tube, turn it upside down, grab one I think is standing out among the rest. What I'm going to try to do is bring this closer to the surface. to make it quicker and easier to grab, as well as eliminating the amount of microbes that could come in contact to it. All right. I'm going to grab my activated culture tube. Hold of my non-dominant hand. Take the top of my pinky of my dominant hand. Now I'm going to flame the tube to make sure there are any microbes on there again. Alright, now what I'm going to do is hold the tube at an angle and put the inoculating tube in there so it can capture some of that culture. Alright, now what I'm going to do is set the mouth of the tube on fire once more and then put the cap on. And then I will set this on the rack again. I'm going to grab my slant agar broth culture. I'm going to take the cap off with my dominant hand. I'm going to light this one on fire as well. Alright, so now I think it's properly disinfected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to the side so it's easier for me to get into there. Make sure this tube touches the bottom of the slant. And then I'm going to drag it across the surface as the agar in kind of a fishtail motion. So across here. Fishy, 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 fishy. Alright, I'm going to flame this tube again. And then put the cap on. And then I'm going to put this little loop into the disposal jar. Alright, so now I'm going to do activity 4, which is transferring the broth to the plate. So first things I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that reactivated culture once more. Hold the tube with my non-dominant hand. Pinky of my dominant hand grabs onto the cap. I'm going to put this in the flame again. Alright, now I think that all the microbes have been taken off. I'm going to grab an inoculating loop. Oops. Sorry, I got that out of view for a second. Alright, take my loop out. Seal that back up to make sure there aren't community microbes that could get in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm bring the petri dish over. I am going to put my, sorry, I'm going to put my loop into the broth again. Make sure I can get as much culture on there as I can. Take this out. Light this on again to eliminate any bacteria that could have gotten on there. Putting the cap back on, setting it into the rack. Now, what I'm going to do with the petri dish in order to make sure that I'm not getting as many microbes in there as possible, is I'm not going to fully take this off. I'm only going to take it off at a small angle. I'm eliminating as many chances as I can of microbes getting in there. So, to this side. Alright, what I'm going to do is drag it back and forth in a zigzag pattern. Kind of like if I was writing the letter Z all over and over again. Alright, close the lid immediately to make sure there's nothing else getting in there. And then what I'm going to do is invert the plate upside down for the incubation.